don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hello there. All right. I'm just going to be honest about my feelings on this movie, Brahmastra. Okay, I know apparently this was really anticipated. I guess a lot of people really like this movie. I absolutely dislike this movie. This movie isn't worth the praise it is given. I have various reasons for this. It's just very cliche, and I'm all about story. I really enjoy a story more than anything else. If you have a good story, but everything else is incredibly boring, and it all ties itself together nicely, it's okay. This movie didn't work from the start. The very beginning, it explained a lot, or it threw a lot at me that I didn't really have any context to go with it. The magical weapons, all this stuff. And I know I'm going to get this cliche, but it was first. This was all first. I don't care about if it's first or last. It doesn't matter to me. What matters if it's told well, if the story's told well. All this comparison between Scarlet Witch and that, I never cared about that. If the story's good, it doesn't matter what came first. What matters is who's the better storyteller. This movie has the cliche of love that Harry Potter did. There's no better magical power than love. This movie just didn't have any real sincerity to it. So it starts off, and I didn't like how it started off because it just seemed like everything was thrown at me, because immediately I had Avatar: The Last Airbender pop into my head. It was just like there was always one Avatar, that the water, earth, fire, just the way it kept switching from person to person to person, all using their weapons, just reminded me of the opening of The Last Airbender. So immediately I started feeling nostalgic vibes to something that is obviously a better story. And it goes into starting it off, and it's like, okay, they're getting the story down. 10 minutes into this movie, it turns into a love story. For 30 minutes on this side note story of love, which felt uncomfortable. It didn't feel like these two actors had any chemistry, which is weird because apparently they're married and have a kid. So it didn't seem to mesh well. I didn't care that he was an orphan. It didn't serve a real purpose. I guess it did in the story, but it didn't serve a real purpose in the story. We could know he's an orphan without having to have him do a birthday party for the kids. The love story, you can show that they're in love without having to have all these pointless montages of them spending time together when they're apparently trying to save someone's life. They were going to warn someone, yet they turned it into a family vacation as they were going to go warn this person. That didn't work. They could have just removed all that. They could have, because what is it? I know I praise KGF quite a lot, but there is a strong love story there when she's hardly in the film. The way he acts in the beginning when he first sees her, the way he toys with her, and then the way she reacts when he leaves. That was perfect. This, she's there constantly. And then it turned into like an anime at one point in time where it was just, they would stop and talk and just talk and talk. And I'm like, this works in an anime, okay? All this stuff works in an anime. It doesn't work in this live action movie. And also another issue is, why is it that when these magical weapons are used by someone who's considered evil, the color change? That made no sense to me. You would think these magical weapons would be color coded to their deity or their zodiac or whatever they're color coded to, not to the person who's being possessed. It made no sense to me. I was just like, so why was the monkey weapon yellow for the first person, but then it became red? Why was the bull blue, but then it became red? Why was it just kept happening over and over and over again? It didn't make any sense to me. It was like, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. I just kept getting angry because anytime it seemed like something was going somewhere, the love story was basically thrown in the midst of the whole thing and just ripped the heart out of the story they were going for. It didn't really work. And again, that cliche that, oh, love is the best magic power. It's the lost magic. It was the original magic that wins everything. The fact that he was going to sacrifice himself for love, what Harry Potter's mother did for him, which made him just, oh my gosh, this story is so overly cliched. The bad part is, the coolest story in this movie seems like to be his origin story, Shiva's origin story about his parents. So I'm guessing since the sequel, part 2, is going to be about his father, I guess the third part is going to be about his mother. So it's just like, I wanted to know that story. Because it's just like, okay, these two people fall in love. She is obligated by duty to fight him. He is obligated by his passion to collect, or I don't know. I guess he wanted to collect all the weapons. You know, he's got to collect them all to be the best Pokemon master. Just, I had so many issues with this movie. I see the CGI is nice. The cast, I like the cast, but I didn't care for the story. It was poorly done, poorly executed. Apparently the director primarily does romance, which makes sense as to why he leaned so hard into the romance, but it's not supposed to be a romance movie. It could have elements of it, and I enjoy that in most Indian films. But the fact that it was all that, everything was that. There was no real action. And every time they tried to have action, they gutted it by having it talk about love. They haven't. I know there's so many more issues that I had with this movie. I'm so upset that I can't think of them all right now. I think mainly because it had the potential to be good. And I think a lot of people just like it. I think people like it. I could be completely wrong and everybody's just unhappy with the movie, just like me. I don't know enough. I don't read articles. I don't follow up on anything. I like film. That's it. I like film and I watch them and then I complain about them afterwards. Whether I like it or not, I always complain about it. Yeah, I've rambled on for quite a while. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles.